So AtGames made an announcement yesterday on the upcoming Legends Pinball, and finally they have addressed the elephant that was in the room, the looks. They've updated their design and this revision looks spot on. Let's check it out. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Toycade, and if you haven't watched my last video where I do a full comparison of all 4 digital pinball products expected to be released this year, I recommended you go and watch that. I'll leave a link below. So it seems that AtGames heard everyone's displeasure with the design of the initial reveal. It was one of the first things that caught my attention, how out of proportion the unit was. It was confusing. Let's quickly run over the changes they've made, have a look at the quick gameplay they provided, and what does that mean for the overall appeal of the Legends Pinball. The main culprit of the out of proportion design was the apron area. It was out of place, it made the whole pinball look ridiculous. Thank God they reduced the apron area and really bring back the front area of the pinball back in, to give it more of a proportional pinball look. They've removed the busy artwork that used to be on the apron area, and I really like how they just put the logo Legends Pinball there. The D-pad has been upgraded and moved into a more ergonomic position for ease of menu navigation, and a great addition is the inclusion of the lockdown bar. Prior to this, Arcade1Up was the only pinball that offered the lockdown bar, which gave it a more authentic look, so it's great AtGames has done this as well. This also addresses the comfort of resting your hands on the pinball while playing. The previous design did not consider a more curved design that can be found on traditional pinball lockdown bars to prevent such discomfort for long-term duration of gameplay. They've also addressed the side rails where it was cut short and gave it an incomplete look. And now we have the side rails running the full length and meeting and tucked under the lockdown bar as you would find on a traditional pinball machine. The colour of the side rails and lockdown bar is questionable as it's not a traditional colour scheme seen on any AtGames Legends product, but it kind of works. By reducing the apron area and bringing back the front, the side panels look thicker and beefier, and looks like AtGames has actually expanded them down further to give it a more proportional look. The previous dimension of the side panel was just horrible. The front of the cab has also been redesigned. It now includes a fold coin door, which looks pretty cool and gives it the authentic traditional look, and I'm really loving it. I'm assuming the buttons on the door is to add credits or start the game, and looks like they have upgraded the plunger as well. The back box width has also been addressed. It is now slightly wider than the main body, and again this gives it the authentic look. Fixing the front portion of the cabinet has also allowed it to have 2 bolts instead of 1 for the legs. So that's good in terms of stability because the initial design of 1 bolt made absolutely no sense. Now let's talk about the very short game footage that was provided. To be honest, for a company like AtGames, I would expect proper gameplay footage instead of a 20-second phone capture that was provided. Nevertheless, as this is supposedly being released next week, we have yet to see any clear gameplay footage. If you were to analyze this video closer, you can clearly see this gameplay was recorded on an early prototype version. The back box width is smaller than the main unit, and the artwork on the back box is clearly based on the Gottlieb title, with the Gottlieb logo in the middle. So what you're seeing here is not even being recorded on the current or previous design. This gameplay footage also confirms that this is running the same emulation as Toy Shock. I may be wrong, but the graphic looks identical. Very flat. One of the downside of the Toy Shock emulation is the 3D effect was kind of non-existent. Tables that had multiple levels, which is very common in Gottlieb titles, was very hard to distinguish and made it slightly difficult to play. So it's kind of disappointing that the Android emulation has not been updated in any way and just support and play. I hope I'm wrong because the expectation that Farsight Studio has been working closely with AtGames in optimizing the gameplay, especially with the integration of the hardware, and I believe P-Dubs in one of his videos claimed that Farsight Studio has been working with AtGames on this for 2 years. So to put that in perspective, Zen Studio and Arcade1Up has been working on their pinball for 1 year, as confirmed by Mel in one of the Blarcade podcasts. So if these claims are true, the optimization of Farsight Studio and AtGames should be more mature and hopefully with some updates. But hey, some may say, what do you expect for 600? So let's revisit the same question I had in my last video, and does all these changes make a difference? Of course it does. This thing now looks like a real pinball, and I love how AtGames have listened to their fans. I find it hard to believe that anyone actually liked the original design of the Legends Pinball. The fact that their marketing channels came out and gave AtGames all the praises on their design can sometimes hide the real noise in the community. So it's good to see that AtGames themselves understand the initial flaws in their design. Kudos to them. This is really a 2-horse show on which pinball we should buy. There is no real reason to buy a Toy Shock unless you want a dumbed down 3/4 scale version of the Legends Pinball, or you want to play the Gottlieb titles right now. Legends Pinball has Toy Shock covered. Well played Toys Pinball. If you're really keen on the Zakaria or Zakaria tables, yes, but I would recommend you revisit my last video on my concerns on that product. AtGames Legends Pinball now addresses the elephant in the room, the looks and design. I'm loving it. I think most of you watching will also agree. This really comes down to the gameplay of the native inbuilt titles and potential playability of the other features. And based on the 20-second footage given, it's kind of disappointing. It's the same emulation as a toy shop, but I have a feeling most of us is buying this table not to play the Gobbly titles anyway. It's the other possibilities, which we won't know until we get a real world review. But looking at the price, it's a risk most of us will take without those reviews. RK1-Up Attack from Mars is still my choice of pinball, though looking at the 24-inch screen and wishing it was a 27-inch will always be on the back of my mind, and no doubt will be the reason why I have an AtGames Legends Pinball next to it. So how are you digging the new redesign of the Legends Pinball? Let me know in the comments below. Are you still confident after all these last minute changes that AtGames will still be able to deliver these in 2020? Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to support the channel. As always, stay safe and thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.